From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody, on Happy Tuesday, Wednesday, Ophelia. The first one I see pop up in chat as I come in. What's going on, everybody? Can you hear me? What's up, Anna? Evil Lady, Eilish, Day Avalon, Eilish, hey, Bree, Wyndham, Nancy, what's up, everybody? One of my favorites, Randy B. All right, so Undead Robin says, where'd you go? Chat's flying, says, hey, y'all, hope you're doing as good as I am. No better. All right, we're doing really good. I had a fantastic 3-day weekend, Labor Day, amazing, and I got to chill. I got to get over being sick, and Peace Girl 205 says, good evening, Jay. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning to whoever is watching. If you're in Australia, I don't know what time it is, but I know it's not California time. All right, so justice for Madeline Soto. Man, there's a lot of stuff out there. I have a lot of things to report on, and I'm trying to narrow it down so I can talk about Stephan Sterns. Stephan Sterns being in love with Maddie. I want you guys to know. I want to know what you guys think. I also want to play a clip in a bit here that talks about Stephan Sterns having a mind of a young boy, not knowing any better possibly, and a possible setup for his defense. Also, hashtag arrest Jen Soto. Hold on real quick. I turn this on. All right, y'all. What it do? What is up, Malibu Surfer? How you doing? All right, everybody, what's going on? So, wow, what do you guys think about Stephan Sterns being in love or using the love defense? Now, nowadays, there are a lot of, we're going to call it chomos, all right? We're going to call that, and they're trying to get in on the LGBTQ IA plus whatever. They're trying to normalize it, and another excuse for the monster wouldn't hold up in court. But also, we just hit 111, so I want to say a prayer for Maddie. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but I gotta tell you, not surprised. He's gotta have a defense. And when you hear what I'm putting out there today, and you see you probably already seen it, but maybe you didn't connect the two. You got to think about Maddie's text messages to him, how the boyfriend or how the friends talked about Maddie being on the phone with Stephan all the time, them going back and forth, and her calling him calling her, text message, hundreds a week, probably hundreds even a day. Hello, Mom. My mom says, hello, baby girl. Love you. Love you too, Mom. All right. So the next court date that's coming up is October. It's not until October, and that may not even happen. So today we're going to talk about the Always poem, and we're going to analyze the writing. I'm 90% sure that it is that's Stephan Sterns, but I want to show you for myself. I want to show you that I want to show you the lettering and how it's written out. I want to show you how precise he did, I think, with a pencil and then inked over it, and then the letters that look the exact same. And I'm going to compare them next to Jen Soto. So I do think that in Stephan Sterns' sick mind, he thought he was in love with Maddie. I don't think that that the letter was in the backpack, because today Grizzly True Crime did an inventory of the items that were taken, and nothing said that there was a letter inside the backpack. If anyone watched that, she talks about the backpack and the items that came out of it and the paint on it, and nothing said there was a letter. Now, this letter of Maddie, this letter for Maddie seems to be written after she was already passed away. All right, so what's up, Paul? He says, hi, Pearl. Hi, Jay. And I want to wish Sadie's mama a happy birthday month. If it's not your birthday today, then I'm going to say happy birthday for the whole month, like we did with mine. Leos get the whole month of July for me. Now, Ashley Valentine says, Stearns is sickening. Justice for Maddie. Also, I notice there's a lot of people in here that I don't see all the time. If you would do me a favor, hit that like button. That contributes to my channel. It's free. Just hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Tiny T says hello. There's a lot of people in here that are lighting up the chat in green that are my my crime crew peeps. And then there's other ones that I haven't seen before. So please, please, please subscribe. Third grade mentality, like when a teacher tells you to do a rough draft, then you write in your best penmanship. Right. All right. I'm going to put that up. We're going to read that. We're going to go over the writing. We're going to go over the clip that talks about Stephan Sterns having a mentality of a boy, a young boy. I want you guys to, I want you to weigh in what you think. And what's up, Avis, Trina Baker, love for Maddie. I want you to, maybe we'll all ask you after we listen to that clip about him being a young boy and his mentality being young, because they say it, the experts are saying that we're going to watch. And, his parents kind of give him a pass, and some of they call him a monster in one hand, and then the next hand, he had a head injury. Well, what about Wade Wilson? Wade Wilson had a head injury. They went to the ends of earth to get those doctors to diagnose him. Now, Stephan Sterns, he's not that smart, but I think he's conniving and cunning, and I think he's going to say that Maddie was in love with him too. Maddie went back and forth with him. She texted him. She, she up until the time where she said no, maybe because there was another boy that she liked. He's not a boy. There was a boy she liked, and she told him no. I think he's going to use that as an excuse, and I want you to weigh in once we listen to the clip that talks about that. All right. Simply Nikki, what is up? Just became a YouTube member. You guys are always amazing. Julie Delk, I always hit everyone's like, even channels they don't watch. It's a natural habit. Well, I hope you do like our channel, my channel, and I hope you like the content. Now, yeah, Bree, I think that's sick too, but you got to remember, how long was Stephan Sterns grooming her for? She was a little tiny girl. He was doing lots of essaying, I want you guys to be mad, because I want you to not only weigh in, but I want to make sure that we get justice for Maddie by arresting Jen Soto. Bull. She's SS excuse. She's a minor. It's not an excuse. I agree. However, take a look at some of the people that are trying to get into the LGBT community that just say they can't help liking minors. They're attracted to them. All right. A head injury, Paul says. Yeah, that's his injury. Right or wrong. I agree. And that's what I agree with for everybody. So it actually offends me when I hear somebody trying to get into the LGBT community with that nonsense. But I've always said the world is run by PEDOS, and it is. It is run by PEDOS. All right. Hide and seek. So strange how Jen was sleeping on meds and zonked out, but yet sent them to bed. And she couldn't get a good night's sleep. I smell bullshit. So do I. I also want to talk to you about CM, the roommate. The roommate is back. She's going to be back. Hopefully I can get her on tomorrow. And if I get her on tomorrow, that'd be great. I'll do a pre-record. She doesn't want to go on live. So CM used to be Jen's roommate. She talks about Natalie. She knows who Natalie is. Now, Natalie is in the LGBT community, and that's also CM. CM is in the LGBT community. Jen was bi. Do you remember the parents said she's bisexual and bipolar? All right. Wednesday says telling her she can play games on his phone if he does things to him for a few minutes when she was only 8. Now, some of the pictures that he puts out also, he puts all kinds of Snapchat pictures where he's playing games with his face twisted, and he writes her this letter that I think is more of a love letter. Now, I think she was already passed away. So if you guys buy that this was in the backpack, let me know. I don't think it was. Let me read it to you, and then I'm going to zoom in on it. I want you to see that this was written in pencil or light pen, and then inked over. It was pencil. It looks like pencil, or like he lightly, and I'm going to say he, because I'm going to show you the analysis in a second. Let me, can you guys see that really good? So look at those, look at the strokes. That's how they look at, that's how handwriting experts, that's how they find the writing, by the stroke. If you do an S like this, if you do a T and then start your stroke like this, if you do an I and do that, or an O, consistent. Now, Malibu Surfer says, oh, please don't put it on the LGBT community. Right. But they have done that. I'm in that community and they have done that. And they do say they want to put those chomos in the LGBT community because they like what they like, just like we do. I'm in that community. Ashley Valentine, $2 super chat. Jen handed Maddie over to Sterns. I agree. Darlene, hi Jay, love and light. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I definitely see you on other channels. You're a rock star. All right. Jennifer Soto was on antidepressants, and according to Stephan Sterns' parents, she was using drugs. That home is run like a junkie home. In all Jennifer Soto's interviews, she behaved like a junkie, and Stephan Sterns like one too. Poor Maddie. I agree. All they can talk about is getting their medication, being zonked out, taking their different kinds of pills. All right. Handed her over on a silver effing platter, Nicole says. And Auntie Ree hit number 16, hit the like button. There's 218 people in chat. Y'all should be hitting that like button. There should be 219 likes. All right. So if you guys agree with me about the strokes of handwriting, that's how it goes down. So let me read this, and then I'm going to pull up the other handwriting, and I'm going to put Jennifer Soto's next to Stephan Sterns, and then I've got circles around it. So this letter indicates to me that Stephan Sterns took Maddie's life. Now, when I say he took Maddie's life and then wrote this after to her as a love letter or a goodbye, and he put it somewhere in the house, they found it. I don't think it was in her backpack, and I don't think it was in her backpack because it happened after he already dumped her stuff, in my opinion. All right. Now, not only that, but there's a lot of talk about how much Stephan Sterns loved her, how much he cared about her. Jen was consoling him. Jen was actually consoling him. He was crying. I don't know if it was fake crying, but he really had feelings for what he thought about Maddie. All right. He says, always, your hair was like honey. So that's a past tense. Your hair was like honey with eyes stormy blue, gone far too soon. That's why I don't think this was in the backpack. I don't know how it was talking about her being gone, but then him putting in the backpack. I will always miss you. Again, her being gone. Your smile was a treasure, past tense. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I will always miss you. Again, she's gone. I loved you so much. I would have died for you with no end to my tears. I will always miss you. Again, gone, missing you, not in the world anymore. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. Now, this reads when it says, as I held you in my arms. Remember, he held her in his arms. He went back to visit Maddie's body. Okay, I know it's disturbing and disgusting, but he did do that. His heart died with her, and he says, rest in peace, sweetheart, which he was known to say, sweetie, sweetheart, things like little love pet names. All right. I didn't come on yesterday, Rosie, but you didn't miss anything, but I'm here today. All right. So I'm going to tell you why this is Stephan Sterns also. I'm going to show you why. Bree Wyndham, he's such a creep. I agree. But he's going to go with that creeper role, and he's going to play that up, and he's going to say he was in love with her and she loved him back. And just look at the text messages and look at how many times she called me a day, and, we fell in love type of thing. That's the only thing I could think of. All right. Darlene says he's disgusting, total past tense. He held her when she died, and then he went to visit her. And remember, he liked to have sex when someone was still, when they weren't breathing. Just lay there and don't move. Don't even breathe type of thing. All right. So as much as that sucks that you for you to hear that. I need you guys to hear this because that's what was happening. Queens of Heart, Charnel, I think he wrote it Saturday when she was flipping out. I think he planned it before he saw her. Queen of Hearts, all theories are on the table. So I appreciate that. I do want to know from chat what you guys think in perspective, what you think about the cadaver dogs hitting on Jen's car. Now, Stephan Sterns took Jen's car back to the dump site, okay? He took it back to the dump site, and when he took it back to the dump site, did he get out and lay with her? Did he lay down with her after he liked people to be still and quiet and silent? And that's not far-fetched when you know what Ted Bundy did. Ted Bundy would go, he murdered one woman and then another, and brought them back and laid there with them naked. So it's not a far stretch. Marilyn McRae says, in his defense, has anything to do with love? His lawyers are ridiculous. And lawyers are ridiculous, Marilyn. Lawyers are ridiculous. And when we play that clip in a minute from Court TV, it's the second half of where Gisela was on from True Crime, Grizzly True Crime. You're going to see what I'm saying. All right. So lawyers are ridiculous. And I agree, Olga. I agree. I'm not giving this man a defense. I'm telling you what's coming out there. All right. And hello, Clar. And Mom, I love you. I hope you're having a good day today. All right. So what do you guys think? How did the cadaver dog hit on Jennifer Soto's car? Now, we know he went back to the dump site or where he put Maddie. So we know he did that. But how did it get there? How the heck did the cadaver dog scent get there? Somebody thinks that he took Maddie from the site and put her in the car and then drove around with her, which I don't think is feasible. All right, Princess says, I just had a sick thought. Maybe he laid down next to her and did God knows what. Man, such bad vibes. I think he was into necrophilia as well. I think he dabbled with it. It's not far-fetched when you think about Ted Bundy and you think about Jeffrey Dahmer. I just watched Dahmer's series yesterday. I got through like 5 episodes, and Jeffrey Dahmer would lay with his victims after they were dead. He would do other stuff too, but I don't want to say that. All right. L. Price says, I just had a fleeting thought. Why, if she was already deceased and he threw that stuff in the trash, why didn't he throw in there? Well, I don't think he could get her in there, and I don't think he can get her in there unnoticed. Darlene says it wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, because nobody else has a feasible or reasonable question or answer for me. Why the cadaver dogs hit on Madeline Soto's car or Jennifer Soto's car, and why didn't Jen Soto tell the police that he took her car and was unaccounted for? That she called the dad, and where's Stephan Sterns? Why didn't she say he took her car? Why didn't she say anything? Why didn't she say what the roommate said when the roommate said she heard noises? It was unusual for Stephan to be doing the laundry. Why? All right. Auntie Reese says, I don't think he did. The Grizzly map showed how he had to move to get her in the final location. Right, but the cadaver dogs hit on Jen Soto's car. So how did that happen? He did go back to the site. And even if Grizzly did the map, did she map out that he went back to the site? Because we didn't know that yet. All right, nothing about this case surprises me. All right, you guys, please do me a favor. There's 316 people in chat. Hit the like button. Carrie, I was wondering where the heck you were today. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to pull up the next one. This was in past tense, and I think that 110% that this was Stephan Sterns that did this. And I'm going to show you why right now. Let me zoom out of here, close this out, and I'm going to get on to the next one. And I'm going to show you the analysis, and then we're going to go over what they're talking about with Stephan Sterns. All right, so let's get out of here real quick. And all right, is this it? Yep. Good to see you all. All right, so there is the writing, and I did some of my own analysis on it, and I went through the letters, picked out particular ones that absolutely, in my opinion, can't be anybody else's but him. By the way, the pencil drops down, swoops, and then picks back up. The way the R, the way the S, the way it has little tails, and then it finishes off. That's what That's what experts do. Handwriting experts do. They look at the stroke of it. They look at the way it's written. They look at the shape of it, the shape that it's not. They look to see if it's handwriting, to see if it's bubbly, to see if it's straight. So Malibu Surfer says, I think he drove Jen's car by the body and used car to prop her body up to move it. Hence the marks on Jen's car door. Interesting, but why would it make marks on the door to move a body? That looked like he hit something. All right. Queen of Hearts says, sick MF. I hate him and I don't do hate. Yeah, how could you not? All right. It was broad daylight when he had the flat tire. He wouldn't have put her in the middle of the place at the time. So you think that he had a flat tire and he drove all the way back, put her in Jen's car, and then took her back there? It's too hot in Florida to have somebody's body in the trunk and then do that. Jack Stormo says, hashtag arrest Jen Soto. I don't think he went back and did that. Wednesday, Ophelia, is Jay freezing or is it just my internet? Well, it's got to be your internet because nothing of mine's freezing, but let me know if you guys are, if the internet's freezing on you. Tiffles will be right back. Needy cat. All right. Sounds like too much. That would be too much. And you got to think of the body in decomposition. If you had it in the trunk for a whole day and then the whole night and then the next day. Janelle's Joint. Hey, y'all, new subscriber. I definitely been really into the case. He's a sick person, 100% evil. Hello. Good to see you. Hit the like button, please. And stick around. Stick around, please. All right. So I guess my internet's freezing. I didn't know that. I'm going to keep going. All right. Let me drop this down so you guys can see it bigger. And, not sure I could imagine leaving her out there at the time. I can't. Well, you got to think of this. When he was doing when he had the flat tire, how did he get a flat tire? I think he had the flat tire, but then he drove to the other side. So he drove to that side to dump her off, got a flat tire, and then turned around to fix it. I don't think that he drove back, but if you guys are thinking that he drove back and kept her body in the trunk, that's very interesting. Sadie's mama thinks that. She says Casey drove with Kaylee for a weekend in the trunk. All right. Jay said, stick around. Yeah, stick around. Welcome. You're going to love Jay and gang, right? All right. So what do you guys think? I can see you guys saying it's like a split chat. Driving on rough terrain is where I think he got the flat tire. And Ashlyn Valentine says, Grizzly True Crime here. So we got the Grizzlies in the house. There were parts of her that were decomposed. And if he did that, he was definitely ballsy to bring Maddie's body all the way back and then switch cars and drive back over there. Carrie says she thinks he's got a flat tire on purpose. The spare tire could get moved out of the space and he had to cover it. You guys have lots of theories. I'm going to say not. I'm going to say he got a flat tire on his way over there. He was driving through, got a flat, and had to change it. And hopefully we'll find out someday. Welcome, Grizzlies. All right. Sherry Helton. It was freezing. Well, hopefully it's not. Let's go over this. And, all right. Let's take a look at this first. Let's look at the writing here. And then look at the writing here. I didn't circle anything because if you look at the strokes and you look at the way the letters are shaped, you can see what I'm talking about. So look at the A and then look at the A. People consistently, whether they're changing their writing or not, have the same type of stroke. They tend to do an A like this. So if you look at every single A, it's like this. It's like this. It has the same consistent stroke, where this one is got all of the letter here, and this is Jen Soto's. It's Jen Soto's writing, and it's all rounded. It's very bubbly. Look at the W. Look at the V. Look at the F. Look at the W. They're all bubbles. All right. So when we go on to this writing here, and I'm going to go into that. I have his statement, and Jen's statement that I want to go over. So when you look at this one, you can see the R and the R. You see the stroke, one single stroke. Same with the A. And you know what killed it for me? No pun intended. The S's. All right, let me go back so I can see what you guys are chatting about. Let's come back up here. Look at those S's. Arts and Cars with Angela. What's up? Look at those S's. Those S's just killing it for me. All right. Handwriting is hard. I unintentionally use 2 different A's when writing, but even if you're using 2 different A's, you're still always doing the same type of stroke. You still use the same muscle memory in your hand that it's like always going to be a T across and then down, or a cross up with a dot. You're always using the same type of stroke, the same type of, pressure on your hand. That's what happens even when you're trying to disguise it. So, all right. The S's won me over too. Yeah, Carly. It's got that little tail end on it, and I just can't get past that. And the R's. Pointed W. Yes. Kristen Davis. I was trying to explain this. It's a pointed W, a pointed V, a pointed Y. Everything's pointed. Yes. I love this. You guys are killing it right now. You're killing it. Let me zoom out. It's pointed. Versus this bubbly stuff. And I'm going to go over the statement after that they wrote. They wrote the whole statement out. I'm going to show you Jen's writing, which is like this. It's nice and big and bubbly. And then you got this one that you can't deny. Look at the A. Look at the always. Look at how pointy. It's muscle memory. The way your hand is writing, it remembers that every time. So when you're doing an E and dragging it across, that's what it looks like. When you're doing an O and it goes all the way around, or if it stops, that's pretty much always what you do. So here, he inked this out. So look at this F. You can't tell me this F doesn't look like that F. Look at this F. It goes like this and then straight across. All right. Then you look at this F. It's almost identical. It goes like this and then a little thing out. But if you look close, he inked it before and then he wrote it down after. All right, you guys are awesome. Points on the letters. I'm impressed she spelled beige correctly. Carly. And right, my lettering's a little bit different, but when you look at it you look at it from a 1,000-foot view, you can see what your writing looks like versus someone else. No upper curve on the T. All right, let's look at what you're saying there so I can see. All right, so look at that T right there. And then let's look back. Let's go back here. I want to make sure we're not discussing anymore if this was his or not, because you can see this one is inked out. He used pencil first, so it's a little bit harder. But if you look at the T, it's very similar. Let's try to find another one. Look at this T and look at this T. Very straight, very much across. All the T's are pretty similar, except this one he had time to ink it out. So yeah, the S's, look at how he has a curve on the end, or like a little thing. They always have little like tips on the end. All right. So look at the W's, very much the same distance apart, etc. All right. Thank you guys for being here and entertaining what I'm saying. Discovered handwriting analysis in school. Fascinating study forever. Right. Look at the V and the M. All right, let's look at that. The spacing between words are choppy in both papers. It is. It's the spacing. It's how heavy the lines are. It's how far apart they are. It's looking at the eyes. In my opinion, it's creeps writing. Right. Stephan Sterns definitely wrote it. All right, so I want to put that to bed, that he wrote it. I want to put that to bed so it's no longer discussion. I also want to put to bed where this was found. I think it was found in the house. I guess we can't put it to bed until we know. But unless it was inside of a plastic bag or something, I don't see how there was not paint on it. I don't see how it was not wet. I don't see how it was not damaged. It was perfectly folded. somewhere when they found it. I don't think it was in the backpack, and I didn't see that. I did not see that on the information that Grizzly put out of all the things that they documented. Ashley Valentine says, I can't imagine his lazy ass changing a flat tire, according to his dad. Right. And he did. He did. He did change that, though. Marilyn McRae says, good night, Stearns. Yeah, I think it was at the house, too. It's too pretty for it to have been anywhere else. I think they got it along with all the paper and other things that they got. All right. So it could, yeah, I think it could have been in a book or something, but I don't think it was inside the backpack. I really truly don't. I think it was I don't think him taking her life was that premeditated. I think it was premeditated in a time frame, but not premeditated where he wrote a note, send her off with a note, and then did it. I don't think that. All right. I agree. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. Her mom needs to get charged as well. There's no way she didn't know what was going on, and she lied for him. How could she see? Right. All right. We're gonna pull down. I'm gonna just look at this one more time, and then I'll pull it down. I'm gonna say that putting this to bed. If you look at the R and you look at the R and you look at all the other letters, Stephan Sterns wrote this. Very pointy letters, very pointy W's, very, very pointy D's. This is Jen's, and you're going to see. Take note of what this looks like. And then when I pull up these reports, you're going to see what I'm saying. You're going to say, that's Jen's, that's Stephan's, right? So, did he write this for Maddie? Yes. Is this a poem or a love letter? Yes, we see it as a poem, and I see him writing her a love letter. I think he loved her, and he wants that to translate, and he wants to say, she loved me too. Now, I have some stories for you about the roommate. I'm going to give you guys an overview. I'm going to give you an overview of what CM is saying about Jen Soto and about the house. No, that wasn't a jail letter. I'm going to show you something. I'll show you where it came from. I also want to show you the pictures really quick again, because I want you to see when I talk about him being in love with Maddie and loving her and showering her with attention. Nobody does this unless it's for your kids. If you're doing this for your kids to entertain them, that happens. Like, I'll make little dumb Snapchats and things like that. Okay, so Deb, thank you. Grizzly show earlier. Now, she showed the poem was found in the backpack. How did she show that? Was it on the paper that gave the inventory? Was it on that paper that said 60 pieces of evidence? Please tell me, because I didn't hear that. CM is the roommate. She doesn't want to give her real name, so we call her CM. But she's going to come back and she's going to tell us, and I'm just going to give you an overview of what she says. All right. So you tell me, somebody that's talking about Grizzly, did you see the poem on the 60 pages? If so, that's fine. I don't want to, I'm not speculating for the backpack. I don't think it was in the backpack either, but okay, Grizzly was speculating then. I saw her reading a document that said 60 items, and none of the items on the 60 items said that the poem was there. All right. People do have the docs and the files, and that's what I was going to say also, is it's too bad that my little small channel can't get that. I've been trying to get the body cam. I've been trying to get the files. I've been trying to get all the stuff Grizzly has, and I can't get it. So when I do use her stuff and I say, thank you, Grizzly, I don't have any other choice but to use the content she brings and then shout her out, because I can't get it any other way. All right. So this is Stephan Sterns sending these things to Maddie, I'm sure, because there's no other kids. And he thinks that he's in love with her. In my opinion, he was abusing her, but I think he really attached himself to her. Why be sad when you can be Delulu? I guess it's delusional. I don't know. And then the different memes, and watch. He even did one with Maddie. It's a cute cat. He did one with Maddie. He looks like a monster, which he is. Watching a new show. So he was sending stuff like this to Maddie, and she was sending stuff back to him. Yes, Pat Samford, I believe he truly thought he had a relationship. And the next clip that we listen to, you're gonna see what they say about him and his kid mind. He's extremely immature. It would make total sense if he had a sick obsession with Maddie. I believe so. Misty Mo says the flat tire was nothing short of God's intervention. I agree. Wednesday Ophelia just upgraded from gifted to paid membership. Thank you. And you all can support me by sending a super chat, sending a super sticker, becoming a member, or hitting the like button and subscribing. All right. 30 new pictures from a document file. Yes, I have those. That's what we're looking at now. We're looking at the images. I don't think he loved Maddie in the way that we love our children or our spouses, but he was definitely an opportunist, and he was looking for his next victim, but he stayed with Maddie for years. He definitely stayed with Maddie for years. So, I think that he had a sick infatuation that he thought was love. So, he's taking these pictures, sending them to Maddie all day while he's not working. I mean, what is this? Who is he going to send this to? You think he sent it to one of his potential girlfriends? You think he sent this to Jen? I don't even think he was interested in Jen at all. We have some documents that say that with the roommate and Jen saying they didn't have sex very often. It was vanilla. With Maddie, he was doing what he wanted. Right? So this is him just sending stupid stuff to her. And this rings true. I bet you he was sending memes across the room and waiting for her reaction because he was like a little kid. Yeah, he did. They do think that their nasty behavior is loving. And I don't think it was love. I'm not saying that at all. I think that it was just his sick mind. Best money I've ever spent. Well, thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, they're immature and they relate to acting like they're yeah, I agree, Paul. I don't want to post that because it's Jen was his way to a child. I agree. Brittany Rich. Hi, Jay. All right, so these are pictures from Stephan's phone that or the phones that came out. They're new images that came out, and I believe they came from Stephan's phone or Maddie's phone, and they were sending pictures back and forth. All right, so I mean, he's making these these images. I don't know what they're called on Snapchat. They have a filter, I guess is what they're called, and he's taking pictures and he's sending them to Maddie. Now, this is a beautiful picture of her. I wish we could cut her out. They blocked this guy out, but I don't know if she sent that to Stephan after they took it or what, but they were sending photos to each other all the time. And I'll leave it on that one with Maddie. What do you mean? What is it, Stella? I'm confused. They're pictures. They're filter pictures of Snapchat that Stephan Sterns was sending to Maddie or he was sending to her. That's what it is. So there's a picture of Maddie with the filter on, and they were sending it back and forth. Adults and children cannot be buddies. I agree, but in their sick mind, they think so. Millie, hi, Jay, and I'll hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Full justice for Maddie. All right, so you see that? That is, that's Maddie with a filter. Now, where did the poem come from? In the foyer. The poem came from online. So people send me stuff after it comes out. Once it's released and people send it to me, I can use the poem. Everybody has the poem on their channel now. Everybody. Every person, every creator I know has the poem. Reddit has the poem. The poem's there. It came from the foyer, which originally came from Grizzly, but my poem that I got didn't come from Grizzly. It came from just online. These pictures are forensic evidence that was FOIA, right? Yeah, that you got to imagine when Grizzly fills out the paperwork and does the FOIA, it comes out, then 10 other people spread it, then it comes to me. But I don't get to have it first, and sometimes I don't get to use it right away. Oh, God, I don't even want to look this up. I saw that, and it's dirty. Yeah, no, I'm not going to look that up on here. It's already too far for me that I'm asking you, was Stephan Sterns in love with Maddie and vice versa? Did he think that she was in love with him back? So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Hello, Marcia. Hello, more. All right. So Maddie was doing these filters, and so was Stephan. As you can see, they were sending it back and forth to each other. And when we get the phone records, or when the phone records come out, we're going to know that we're going to know what Maddie was sending to him. And they're going to tell you that there was probably hundreds of messages a day between Stephan and Maddie. Maddie probably was confused with the love until she wasn't. Or maybe she was just done and she wanted a boyfriend. She wanted a boyfriend that was her age, that can relate. That's what I'm thinking. Melly, my beautiful Melly, the one and only. Y'all, she's got her new channel up. I believe it's True Crime, right, Melly? True Crime all the time. Melly, go subscribe to her channel. Everybody knows Maddie. Or Melly, I'm sorry. Everybody knows Maddie, too. All right. Good to see you, everybody. And yeah, very immature. Where the hell were the adults in Maddie's life? We're going to talk about that. All right. All right, let's pull this down. That's not an adult. Jen's not an adult. I mean, this guy is just baiting her. Now, look at this. She was so little here. She was already being abused here. Madeline had her 10th birthday. Said how she had absolute blast. She was already being abused by this age, everybody. So that sick love thing that he had going on couldn't have been love, because she was not a consenting adult. All right. So let's get into this part. This is what I wanted to share with you. Well, I got a lot of things to share, but after this, I will talk to you about what's going to come on with the roommate, the ex-roommate, and some information that she has about the rooms, the situation of the rooms. Were the rooms numbered before? How much rent was it? Who is the one of the roommates that I talked about earlier? Hold on. 1 second. My daughter's texting me. Her having a phone number is a double-edged sword. Hold on. All right. Sweet and Salty, aka Rachel. Thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. That's how you support the channel. And I look forward to CM too. She's amazing. She really is a cool person. Oh, man. Thank you, Melly. The beautiful Melly just gifted one Guilty of Crime membership. I hope that whoever really wants the membership gets it. Thank you. Thank you, Melly. You're awesome. All right. Heard the marks on the door were made from fingerprint powder. That's what I saw, too. I saw the marks on the door being fingerprint powder. They were checking for prints, handprints, fingerprints, any kind of prints. Oh, look at how awesome you are, Melly. You just started the wave. You started we'll call it the train. Judy Doll just gifted 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. Thank you so much. And Melly does rock. Melly really does rock. She's awesome. Melly's everywhere. Jill, I'm going to just say Jill. Jill, you're here. Yeah, welcome to new Crime Crew members. You know what? CM wants to punch Jen in the face too. She wants to punch all of them in the face. So let's talk about Stephan Sterns being childlike. All right. Let me make sure I'm back.
All of the problems. But,
Let's start with her.
To you initially, if anything?
Well, it shows that he has deep psychological problems that began in childhood, obviously, as they do. His mother, the interview with the parents of Stephan is really fascinating, because it sheds a lot of light on things. For example, his mother said that Jennifer was a bad influence. She was a bipolar, bisexual drug addict. So she was blaming Jennifer for all of the problems. But, someone who doesn't want to have sex with an adult woman and wants anal sex, you have to think of a number of things. First of all, I think he had failure to thrive syndrome. He was given Adderall as a little boy, and so presumably he had some kind of ADHD or ADD. And then also he had a car accident where he was run over twice.
All right, so this is where the car accident's going to come in, and I want you guys to, the most violent words get highlighted. Failure to launch. Melly says he's a sick, demented demon. I agree. Now, keep in mind that Wade Wilson used this. I got in an accident. I had brain damage. We need to get doctors in here. I think that they're gonna pull that card. I don't think they have any other defense. I do think that Stephan Sterns is going to say, I was in love with her. I wrote her a poem. I loved her. We talked all the time. I think he's going to pull out all the stops. Lynette, you're amazing. Good to see you're feeling better. I am definitely feeling better. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you. You guys are jumping on that train. We've got 8 of them right now. Melly gifted another membership. Thank you, Melly. 2 memberships, 5 from Judy. So we got 7 memberships gifted tonight. Thank you. All right. And we're going to bring CM back soon. And I'll tell you what she said in a nutshell.
And he had a head injury. So I think that all of these things caused him to have failure to thrive. And he was really operating at the level of a little boy. Now, you could also add to that wanting to have anal sex. Could he have had some homosexual preferences? I mean, I think he really wasn't differentiated. You know, he was failure to thrive. He was still a little boy, and he was expected to be with Jennifer in a male role.
All right, Sharonda Brown, as a child abuse expert, has anything yet spoken to you to say, wait a minute, he may be one that does or will or is abusing children?
Absolutely. It sounds like he has some things going on with him when he was younger. And what we know about most perpetrators is that they were perpetrated on. And usually what they find interesting are the youth that remind them of who they were when they were perpetrated on. So they will go.
All right, we're going to stop and shout out Stella, gifted 5 Guilty of Crime memberships, and you know we're very grateful for that and all of your feedback. So Pat Sampras is a bit Maddie felt a lot of confusion and guilt for herself, which she shouldn't have, but most victims do. Yes, 90% of victims do. I don't really know any that say, oh, it wasn't my fault. They were doing that until they've gone through therapy. Thank you again, Stella, for gifting that the 5 memberships. And then Dee Dee, thank you for keeping the train going. Thank you, man. There's 11 on the train, and I appreciate that. You know, it all helps. Now, I just started doing Opus clip today, so thank you, Carly, for recommending that. We will need to put money into that to keep it going, so I will use this money for that. Clark says, I love you, Jay, mods, and fam. I love you all very much, and we love you, Thank you for being here and supporting the channel. Let's listen to this monster, what we think he might use.
After the age range that they were perpetrated. So for instance, if he was perpetrated at 8, he would perp on someone who's 8 and he'd identify with them. And that's usually what happens with perpetrators. And they have a hard time connecting to adults and having adult relationships because their chronological age does not add up to their social emotional age. So women may have been prey because if they had young children, had young daughters, that would have been a purpose as well. So I think that a lot of things stick out here when I'm hearing this case and I'm listening to the interview with the parents. You can tell at some point things happened with him and they overlooked that as well and made excuses because everyone seemed to be the blame but their son.
Everyone seemed to be to blame. All right, ladies, another interesting piece of evidence.
I hope he blames Jen. I really do, because it was him and Jen's fault. It wasn't Maddie's fault at all. I do think that it was Jen's fault for handing her over. And I got to tell you, when I talked to CM, 110% when I talked to CM, everybody, she is so angry by it. And she tells me that Jen, well, in her opinion, Jen took the opportunity when Juan moved out and when CM moved out, who really cared about Maddie and cared about her well-being, versus the other people that were just there, just paying their rent and in and out. She used the opportunity to hand her daughter over. The printing is juvenile, not like Jen's. I say rest. SS wrote it. I agree. Thank you.
Revealed in the court docs came from Sterns' search history. Take a look. Upon reviewing Stephan's Google information, Stephan also searches a drug on 2 different dates, sevoflurane. Sevoflurane is a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, echinacea, and autonomic blockage during surgical and procedural interventions. It is unknown why Stephan would be searching this item using the search terms of show up in drug test when he wasn't attempting to get a job or he didn't have any children that were having surgery. All right, Dr. Lieberman, I mean, it is a weird thing to search, and look at the effects of that drug. My understanding is it has to be administered perhaps through an IV. What does this say to you?
Well, it says that, and also his parents said that they were both taking a lot of drugs and sleeping all the time. It seems like he was trying to escape from life, through the drugs and through, obviously abusing a little girl. And I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, allegedly, all right, but it really does. Well, no, it's not allegedly. We have the pictures. But what's interesting is we're getting, of course, all of these pieces. We're adding pieces to the puzzle, trying to put it together. Right. But in the end, it really is coming out to be what we suspect.
What a life to work a couple hours a week, take drugs all day, and just freaking sleep while your kid's being abused. Judy Dahl, thank you so much for gifting the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. We have a full month ahead of us, and I think I can do an extra members only this month and do something special. I don't know what yet, but we'll figure it out. I'll probably ask you guys.
From the very beginning, which is that predators on children get together with women who have children, little boys or little girls, because they get into these kinds of relationships so that they can have access to these children. And Jen seems like someone who, did not exactly.
Now, thank you, Rosie, for the $1.99 super sticker. Sweetie Brooke says money train, right? It's going to help. It's going to help me get my my shorts out, and it just helps me to have a better channel. Thank you.
We have a million men trying to become her boyfriend. So she was selling her daughter, basically. I don't mean literally, but she was prostituting her daughter to keep Stephan around.
That's what I think too. And Sharonda, I think the drug he was researching, there's only one reason he was looking that up and Googling, is because he wanted something to incapacitate one of his victims.
I agree. I think that when you're trying to figure out how to get someone to sleep or how to get someone out of their own body and mind, you definitely want to have a level of control. And it sounds like with her turning 13, she may have decided to fight back. She may have decided that this wasn't going to be something she wanted to do anymore. She probably did start picking up with friends and other people finding interest in her. And usually when people commit crimes, it's usually because they lost control at some point. So it sounds like the drug would have helped him maintain control on some level. And I'm not sure exactly how he chose to administer, if he did, but I do think that when it gets...
I think Jen gave him access to administer that drug every night when he said, hey, it's time to go to bed. You got to take your pills. If you want to have extra time to watch TV or you want your phone, you got to take your pills. Mom said, take an extra one tonight, or I'm giving you an extra one tonight because X, Y, and Z. He had that access to Maddie. He told Jen Soto, he told her that night that he had given her extra medication. So we can debate that Jen knew or not, but Jen did tell everybody that she handed Maddie to Stephan and said, go sleep in here. Now, one of the things the roommate said is that she does not believe that was one of the only times that Jen was handing Maddie over. She 100% believes that she was minimizing it when she said that. When she said, oh, I only sent them to bed sometimes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what she said and the fact that he told her, then she knew, right? And she never went through his phone. She never questioned him. This is five or more years of abuse on this child. And ANAL, which I can't even say. It's awful. Can you imagine how wrecked you would be? That would wreck you to be getting that done to you for years while you're passed out, man, and a little kid.
to that point, it's usually because there's a loss of control and you're trying to confine something. And it's possible that this confinement got out of control and it led to her murder.
Yep, control. Authorities also interviewed one of Stephan Sterns' ex-girlfriends. And when asked about their sex life, here's what she had to say. She disclosed that Stephan had a tough time having an erection. She described one very weird occasion where Stephan had her lay face down, completely flat, as if she was dead, and had sexual intercourse with her. She states that it was the only time he was very erect. All right, Carol Lieberman, that's just bizarre to me.
Necrophilia.
What did I tell you guys earlier? And it's not because I heard this, because I hadn't even listened to this last half of this yet. But what I'm telling you is that that's not far from the truth for Ted Bundy, for Jeffrey Dahmer, for any of these serial rapists, serial killers. It's not far from that. So yeah, I mean, it really just, it doesn't surprise me. It's just that we don't usually talk like this on my page. I don't usually say this, the rough stuff that's true. I say it, but I tone it down, and I can't tone this down because this seems to be what was actually happening. When someone tells me that Jennifer Soto's car was hit on by the cadaver dogs, the only thing I can think of is this. This is what I think of because I've been studying true crime for years. So nothing surprises me, right? Bruto puerco, says Bill Cosby. And Rachel, you're right. Poor Maddie. I can't imagine going through that.
Sex with a dead body. Well, we know he had a bunch of sexual, oddities. For example, when he was a child, or a teenager, he was caught taking pictures through a window and so on. I mean, the most obvious reason for this would be some kind of a perverted sort of relationship, or perhaps an abusive relationship with his mother. But we don't have evidence for that, and I think that's.
Yeah, this video is not going to be monetized, so watch it because it's not going to come back on the algorithm. And Microwave Cheese, thank you for the gifted 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. Everybody that has donated today, thank you. This will not make it to the algorithm. This will be limited monetization. Yeah, this is bad. Sometimes I just have to get it out on this harsh content. You can't say it any other way. No, he did not have a record like that. She's just negligent. He didn't have that kind of record. This is him now in the charges, which is going to be
hard to get. But in other words, there are these several different things that point to a very distorted, twisted kind of sexual, growing up with something that distorted his sexuality.
And I think it's okay if it's distorted and you're with consenting adults, but it's a whole different thing when you are allegedly committing these crimes against a child. Thankfully, our guests are staying with us. Still to come, what did Jen Soto know?
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be, and we're scared. We just want her home.
We're desperate for any answers, anything that you can do to help. I'm here for it. Just please.
Do you guys believe her? Avis, thank you so much for the 1999 super sticker. So great. I can't always, it's so hard to wrap my mind around this stuff and talk about it. Wednesday Ophelia, YouTube needs to quit it with the censorship. I agree. I do feel bad though for families that have to hear this, but there's no way to go around it. This is what's happening. I can't tone this down when that's what's happening. I can't not say necrophilia when that's what I believe is happening. I can't get around it.
If you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
That was Jen Soto pleading for Madeline's safe return just one day after she was reported missing. This was prior to the arrest of Sterns, but it does beg the question, did Jen suspect any foul play from her boyfriend? We now know from court documents that the night before Madeline's disappearance, Jen allegedly sent Sterns and Madeline to go sleep in a separate room, a decision the police later questioned her about. Let's take a look. Jennifer said she didn't feel comfortable with Madeline sleeping with Stephan, and it didn't look right to her. I asked Jennifer when she started feeling comfortable with it, and she said she never was comfortable with it. I challenged Jennifer about telling them to go to sleep together on February 25th of 2024, and she said it was a selfish move because she wanted a good night's sleep.
All right, so it was a selfish move that she did very often. Again, I spoke with CM and CBC. Yes, we are live. Feel free to hit that like button. I know you're subscribed, so thank you. And everybody that's gifted memberships and super chat, super stickers, you guys are awesome. She didn't do that one time. She wasn't just selfish that time. CM, really, I'm going to tell you at the end. I'm just going to give you a lowdown of what she said and how much her rent was, what she thinks about Juan and Jen and Maddie. And she calls Stephan Sterns Satan. She doesn't even say his name, so we're going to call him Satan. I believe her just for Jen. Right. I believe CM too, when Jen says she didn't feel comfortable with Maddie sleeping with Stephan, and it didn't look right to her. She also started feeling comfortable with it, and then she was never comfortable. She challenged Jennifer about telling them to go to sleep. No, she didn't. That was not the only time. There were many times that she did that.
This brings me to the final question of the night, but it is a very important one. What did Jen Soto know? Our guests are still here with us, licensed mental health and nationally certified clinician Sharonda Brown and forensic psychiatrist Dr. Carol Lieberman. Sharonda, first of all, let's start with there are no charges against Jen Soto, and she's not a person of interest as far as we know. But what should she have known? Did she know, to Dr. Lieberman's point earlier?
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to all agree on this. Noel with an E. It's not black and white. It's just that she should put her hands out and get handcuffs for handing her daughter over, just pure out of making a mistake that she knows she made. She should go to jail and do some time and think about that is what she should do. But absolutely nothing is in black and white in this case.
That she was basically prostituting her daughter out.
I think she absolutely knew that. When detectives asked her, I believe her first response was, he was abusing my daughter sexually. So she knew that. And I think that she was aware of that. I think whatever she needed to do to go to sleep so she could avoid it was helping her cope with what she knew was happening. This child was 13 years old. Why else would she need to sleep with a grown man? So I do believe that the mom knew something. I think that to keep someone close to her, to keep a companion there or some kind of affection, she probably was saying, hey, if this is the bargain, you can sleep with my daughter. And that's very common amongst perpetrators and the victims' moms.
And she is not a suspect. We know that, Carol Lieberman, but tell us what you think about some of the details you're hearing of what she told police.
Well, first of all, it is so frustrating and incomprehensible that she is not a suspect. The only thing that I'm hoping is that she should be like an accessory at the very least. We're not saying that she necessarily murdered her daughter, but she certainly is guilty of something, putting her in harm's way.
It's interesting how every single woman, every single mother says that about Jen Soto. And Sonia, you've always said he paid $600 per month for access to Maddie. That was Jen's doing as well. She gave that price to Satan Sterns. I want to tell you that because she didn't need to be renting out those rooms. And you guys are not going to like that when you hear that she was renting out the room to Natalie. She was renting the room out to the other roommate, which I can't remember right now, only because CM knew or knows of Natalie, which was Jennifer Soto's best friend, and why she's sticking up for her. She rented it out. So two people right there, $1,200. And then Stephan Sterns, that would be $1,800. She took downstairs. And I'll tell you the situation after. I'm going to just read the statement she sent to me until I get her on. But she was only, Juan was only charging CM $350. So she knew arrest Jen. CM paid $300 and all these people were paying $600, and she took Maddie's room away from her. That used to be Maddie's room, that number 4 room, but there was no number on it. So I want you guys to know that.
A bunch of charges. So I'm hoping that they are just saying that she's not under suspicion, she's not a person of interest, and we're not charging her, like waiting for her to do more or say more that will incriminate herself. But you know, she really, I mean, some of the things that well, first of all, it's really interesting to watch her now, to look at those interviews now, because when we first saw them, when this first happened, you had some sympathy for her. And now that all this information has come out, and
I think I never had sympathy for her. And now that all the information's come out, I'm even more upset. Scary Sherry, just helping out. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for helping out. I appreciate you. I definitely do that with other channels. I pay Grizzly $6.99 a month for the tier and anything else that I can when I send super chat, super stickers. So I appreciate that. Jen rented out the room. Someone, Carly said, and my mom's in here chatting. Where'd she go? She knew already, because otherwise she would not have lied and covered for Stephan Sterns. Agreed, Mom. I agree. She lied, and then when it fit her need, she would tell them what the police wanted to hear.
We realized, you know, that she did know so much more, and she was okay with it. She was putting her daughter in harm's way. It seems so hollow. You know, all of the sort of tears or whatever, you know, please tell me if you see my daughter. I mean, it's just very chilling to see that this mother really didn't love her or have enough care for her. She at the very least, she was putting Stephan before her daughter.
Yep,
and so, I just hope that they really are ultimately going to charge her with something.
Well, Stephan actually did pay rent, Noel with an E. His parents paid $600 a month for him. So he did pay rent, and we see that in the documents. His parents tell. And if we need to get proof of it, I'm sure that we probably can. So he did pay, and Stephan is just a horrible monster. Jen Soto, I need a good night's sleep, therefore must do the thing that normal parents would do, pimp my daughter to a known predator. Right. Yeah, his parents paid for that room, so I'm not sure where you're getting that. And even if he didn't, she still put Maddie in the room with Stephan and then rented out all of the other rooms, which we know for sure. Yes, his parents did pay. Thank you. They did pay. They paid $600 for Stephan, and then each roommate took all the other rooms, and they paid each. One had a child. One was her best friend, and she was in the LGBT community with Jen Soto. So yeah, they did. And Judy, thank you, Jay and Mods, for all you do. Thank you for the $20 super chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting this stream.
Let's add to the mix another little set of facts about something that Jen said, because despite Jen telling police she was uncomfortable with Sterns and Madeline spending time alone together, according to court documents, when asked by her roommate, Angelica, she had a different response entirely. Let's take a look at that response. Angelica said she had a conversation with Jennifer about Stephan and Madeline going into the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stephan would never harm Madeline. So she was okay with it happening. All right, Sharonda, that's a very different answer. When the police asked, she kind of throws him under the bus, but when her friends ask, oh yeah, it's fine, it's okay.
See?
Well, with your friends, you want to normalize behaviors that you
See, and she did. She made it sound like it was nothing. Natalie stuck up for her. Natalie was one of her roommates, the one that talked about, that gave the most information, that talks about hearing Maddie or not hearing Maddie in the morning and her getting ready for work, but hearing a loud noise at night. But she did make Maddie's room into a makeshift room that Duty Ron called a massage parlor. It looked like a massage parlor partition. Yeah, I can't even with this lady.
know are not okay. I think when it comes to the police, you don't want to seem guilty of anything. So those are very two different goals. Most women don't want to be judged by their friends because their friends will say, hey, that's not okay. They can judge you to a different level in a different capacity. Social shame is totally different from legal shame. And I think that with women, especially when it comes to their men, they will paint the picture that everything is perfect before they tell the truth about being unhappy or saying, hey, I can't please my man, but I know someone who can. So whether it's a threesome, whether it's my child, whether it's someone else, I'm going to allow that and say everything's fine.
Dr. Lieberman, are you able to take?
This is rough, and this is truthful. This is the hard truth. And there are a lot of women that are out there that I'm looking at these cases. Jess sends me them, and Jojo, and all the mods and people doing research send me links to crimes that are happening right now that are the same thing. So I don't know why Jen Soto is any better than any of those mothers that are doing that. Now, Army Mom says he moved out because his father decided not to pay rent anymore. That's why he moved out. That shows you that he was paying rent. And I think the reason he took Maddie's life is because he was losing control. He did not want Maddie to be out of his control. He did not want Maddie dating a boy. He did not want Maddie going anywhere. Clark, Jay, you beautiful badass. Thank you. You like my haircut today? I just got a haircut. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. If Jen is going to be a witness in this case, she's going to be ripped apart. I agree. I can't wait to see if Stephan Sterns does blame her. I really would like him to, because in one of his statements, he says he did not mean for that to happen, what happened to Maddie, and he was not the one that initiated it. He was not the one. I have verbatim, I have a statement of what he said, but he did not initiate what happened, and he did not want what happened to happen. So I'd be very curious to hear what happened. What happened, Stephan?
Take that one step further. Is it possible, based on your expertise, to say, because the mother did what you, Sharonda, just described so well, because the mother did that and told one story to the police, a different one to friends, she knew what she was doing. There was no unknown in the steps she was taking.
Yes, she did know a lot more than she was trying to give out.
All right, people, that is not my dog, so don't get mad at me. No, it's not mine. It's one of those ladies' dog. It's not my dog. My dogs are sleeping right now. All right, Nora, what's up? You're late, and that's okay. Thank you for signing the petition, Deb. And Jill and Brian say, hey, Patronus. All right, let's go.
You know, people are saying, well, particularly Stephan's mother, but I mean, she, the daughter, first of all, had puberty at 11, went into puberty at 11. And apparently at school, because of her developing, earlier than some of the other girls, she was being felt up by boys at school, which is very interesting because it's not just, I don't think, because of the fact that she was developing sooner, but also that there was a sense, I think they had a sense that she was engaged in some kind of sexual activity and they were attracted to her in that kind of way. And I'm not, little kids don't know.
What's interesting is that the parents knew about this, or they talked about knowing about it, and they didn't do anything. Nobody did anything. Could you imagine Jen saying that was happening to her daughter and not doing anything? And Eilish, this is the first time I've heard this, arrest Angelica Negro. Damn, that's rough. So Angelica and Natalie were her roommates. Ah, damn, you guys are, all right.
No, don't understand all of this, but unconsciously, they were attracted to her. She was like a more experienced kind of girl. Also, right before she was killed, they were saying that she was showing some signs of bipolar disorder, manic depressive disorder, like her mother had. And so, at least that's how they were interpreting it. But it could well have also been, maybe that was true, but maybe it was also that this was a reaction to all these years of sexual abuse, that she was getting more aggressive towards her mother and, acting out more irrationally.
All right. And again, Jen is not a suspect at this time, but despite allowing Sterns to stay in her home during her police interview, Jen Soto gave a highly negative description of Sterns. Following this, police allegedly showed Jen images of Sterns' abuse of Madeline. He had many of those on his phone. And this appeared to have led her to a disturbing realization. Jennifer said that Stephan is a master liar and a master manipulator. Jennifer said once we showed her the photographs, that is when.
If she knew that, why wasn't she doing anything? Why did she go in those interviews? Why did she go on the news, everybody? Why did she go on the news? And why did she go stay at the hotel with Stephan? Why didn't she tell the police that that Stephan took her car? Why didn't she say anything? I don't understand. Oh, it makes me so upset.
She realized Stephan was guilty. I asked Jennifer if she thought Stephan killed Madeline, and she said, at this point, I do. Do you think, Sharonda, that it was really a sudden realization because she saw pictures? Or do you think in her gut, mother's instinct, she might have known this man did something bad to my daughter?
I do think that there was a sudden dose of reality once she saw those pictures. People live in denial quite a bit, especially when they have an addictive behavior. And if we're talking about drug use and we're talking about her goal to make her partner happy, that's all she saw. And so once those pictures set in, it was the connection of logic, because usually it's just urge that's involved with addiction. So once those urges were suppressed and so the pictures say, hey, this is reality, it was like, oh my God, there was like this shock of this light bulb that went off. So I do believe that there was a disconnect up until that point. And that's when
I do think she wanted a lawyer for Stephan because she didn't want him talking. She still doesn't want him talking because if he talks, he's going to implicate her. And he kind of has. If you read his statements where he talks about not doing that, not meaning for that to happen, he didn't intend for that to happen to Maddie. He's not the one that started it. Who is he implicating here? If it's not Jen Soto, who was there? Who's he implicating? He took pictures of the roommate. It wasn't the roommate. It wasn't the kids there. There's only one other person.
He was able to come to a sense of like, all right, this is possible. Whether I'm in denial or not, I have to face this.
Yeah, well, following his arrest, Sterns' mother sent him an email that seemed to implicate Jen as a possible accomplice to these alleged crimes. She wrote, "We all know, redacted, was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not." She went on to say, "That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything." So his mother on his side in the last 10, 15 seconds, Dr. Lieberman, does that surprise you?
No, and all I can say is if they put the parents on the stand, although she's saying that, I think they would not be helpful to his case. Let's put it that way. But yeah, they're saying that he is the front man, that he really loved, felt for, has remorse for Jennifer's, for Madeline's death, and that the mother doesn't. So, I mean, that could well be true that he's taking the fall because he feels guilty for what he did do to Madeline.
Could
it's
be.
Possible.
All right, it's possible, and I apologize. We're out of time. Thank you so much to my guests for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, for breaking that down. That was a good interview. It was informative, and it was the harsh truth about many things. But we have to see that as a possibility of Stephan Sterns with necrophilia and other things. All right, let me find this real quick. I wanted to show you the writing. All right, so someone sent me that, and I appreciate it. I don't get all of these documents. I did not fill out the FOIA, and I was going to, but I heard it would take months, and I don't think it costs anymore because they did pay for it, but it would take months, and I haven't been doing this for a long time, so I think you have to be certified as a media. I'm not sure, but I did get things from different people, and somebody sent me this, the Orange County Sheriff's Office report routing and affidavit, and it has the writing of Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto in their statement. So pending waivers and affidavits, sworn statements. These are the sworn statements by Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto. So on March 1st, this was the day that he got arrested. It says Stephan Sterns, adult charges, general, I don't know what that says, invest something, general investigation, supplement, homicide, and then property form waivers and affidavits. All right. So there is Stephan's writing. Stephan Sterns. He wrote his driver's license down, state of Florida. He wrote Stephan wrong. Stephan.Sterns at GAMAL. It's gmail.com. And then Stephan Sterns. And everything that happened that day, that's his writing there. So if you look at that writing compared to the poem, this was just him not trying. I don't think Jen scratched Stephan. I don't know where that came from. Jen did get child support a while back. We have proof of the child support payments from Tyler Wallace. And of course, Stephan Sterns plead not guilty. All right, let me read this quick statement to you since we have it up, and then we'll go to Jen's. So he says he dropped off about a block of south from school sometime between 8:25 and 8:40. So his time changes every time. All right. He turned around and headed back towards town. I watched in my rearview mirror as Maddie, made her way in the direction of the school. She was busy searching through her backpack for something, but seemed to still be moving towards the school. So I carried on with my day. I stopped by a nearby vape shop, but it was closed. So I went home and left about an hour or so later to check the shop again. It was open, so I bought my vape juice and returned home. Relaxed with Jen for a while. Later went out in the afternoon for more errands. I returned home around 2:30. Now, he left out a lot of things in this, didn't he? He left out going home, coming back, going through the gate, bringing Maddie's body through, getting a flat tire, all that. Now, look at Jennifer Soto's writing. I think we've already determined that the difference between Jen Soto and Stephan Sterns in that note. So look at that writing. Look at that bubbly writing that she took the time to do. Again, we're talking about Stephan Sterns being in love with Maddie in his sick head, and what he's going to say as a defense. Also, the Always poem, we analyzed that. We looked at the writing. We're looking at their statements, which were very quick. And yeah, if you know what time the vape shop opens, why would you go back and check? What is this, 1980, where they gotta sit by the phone and answer? Yeah, she lied in her statement too. Let's look at her statement. I'm gonna read that to you. Then I'm gonna give you a brief summary of what CM is gonna talk about, and then I'll head out. There's 545 people in chat. Please do hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. All right, let's see what Jen says in her statement. Again, her statement was the same day. They blocked some things out here. I'm not sure why, but they took their statement, and then she's got Jenny L. Soto at gmail.com, Jennifer Soto. There you go. I don't think she uses this anymore, but if someone wants to send her a friendly email, it's Jen Lizette or Jen L. Soto at gmail.com, Jennifer Lizette. Today around 8 a.m. Now, Stephan Sterns said 8:25 or 8:40. So let's see what she says. All right. Yeah, we hope, but Stephan Sterns gets what's coming. And I hope Jen gets arrested. Today around 8 a.m., I saw Maddie getting ready for school. I was not sure what time they departed. So look at right here. Today at 8 a.m., she saw Maddie getting ready for school. Does anybody think that Jen saw Maddie going to school? Yeah, a friendly email all in tanks. Send her a friendly email. All right, so she did not see Maddie, but she says she saw Maddie getting ready. I'm not sure what time they departed. Stephan Sterns took her to school and dropped her off close to the school on Town Loop Boulevard between Town Center Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane around 8:30 to 8:45 a.m. Their times are off again. She never made it to school. I went to school around 4 p.m. to pick her up, and she never came out. I searched the area, went to somebody's office to look for Maddie, and could not find her. End of story. She's done. We're all done. She couldn't find her, so she left. She signed it. Jennifer Lizette Soto. That was her statement. Missing since 8:30 a.m. Declination of intent. That's it. End of story. We're done. All right. I'm going to save this stuff for another day because we're not going to go over the whole thing. But it's really good information. And more content, the better that we have to look. Always a loser. I agree. All right. Let me take a look at this real quick. Let me just tell you what we're going to talk about. And so CM, I have been trying to get a statement from CM, which is Jennifer Soto's old roommate before Maddie was getting, before she was getting abused, before we knew she was. Okay, so there was no pictures on the dates she lived there. I said, why didn't we get her fat potato out of the car and go looking inside the school? Sorry if those are no. You're good. She is a fat potato, and thank you, Trish, for signing the petition. All right. So CM has been very upset, and she wants to come on and tell us that she wanted you guys to know and everybody to know that Juan had offered CM a place to stay. It was a room for rent, and it was upstairs with Maddie and Jen. Stephan Sterns didn't live there. Juan rented the room out for $350 a month. That's when he was still living there. It was only Jen, Maddie, and Juan that lived there. So Juan was downstairs, Jen was upstairs, and Maddie had room number 4. And the third room that was rented out was to CM. All right. So Satan didn't live there, but Satan stayed a lot and didn't pay rent or anything. He didn't pay rent. Nobody paid rent. He didn't live there. He'd just come all the time. It was at the beginning of them dating. And this is 2019 to 2020. Juan had the bedroom downstairs, the whole living room. There was no makeshift bedroom that we see now. Sadly, room number 4 was Maddie's room when CM lived there. And she had room number 2 and Jen had room number 3. They weren't labeled, but that's the rooms that you see now. CM worked a lot. CM still works a lot. Jen did not cook much to her knowledge. Jen's room was a little bit messy. Maddie's room was clean. Jen's room was messy. Maddie's room was clean. Maddie's room was neat for the most part, but kid messy is what she said. Also, I was responsible for my own food. So was Juan. So they all kind of cooked for themselves. Fair game. Nobody did family style. They observed Satan playing video games most of the time and his stupid Warhammer figurines. All childlike activities. He did not work at all when she was staying there. CM had full access to the house. They all did. Juan was not renting rooms when she lived there. No other rooms were rented. Satan Sterns would just stay there. All right, let's see. And then they never slept together. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hi, this Janine. You guys, you guys are important, but this is an important call from the insurance company. So I'm going to just wrap this up with Jen and Stephan were just dating. Juan didn't let anybody live there. Stephan didn't live there. And hashtag arrest Jen Soto. CM is very upset. I'm going to head out. I love you all. I got to go. I got to take this call. It's important to get my house fixed. You guys are important. I'll be back here tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Love you all.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?